Andrew Kramer here with videocopilot.net. All right, so there I was. I was on the 17th hole, okay? Something like 220 yards away, okay? So I'm thinking I'm going to use my driver. So I take the driver out, okay? Set the ball up a little higher than usual this time. And the green is straight ahead and around the corner to the left past all these trees. So what I'm thinking is, I'm going to shoot it over these trees. I'm going to get it on the green, and, I'm going to get a birdie. Par 4, okay? Well, it turns out there was a little bit of wind that day, and so I hit the ball, and, well, you know how there's houses on the course sometimes? Well, I hit somebody's house. You'll be happy to know that I hit another ball and just pretended like that wasn't my ball, and everything was fine. So anyway, today what we're gonna do is blemish removal. Okay, so what I have is this bride footage, and I'm gonna make a new composition by dragging it out to anywhere, basically. If you drag it out into the kind of shadow composition or down here to the timeline before composition is made, it will in fact make a composition, the length, and the size, just like the make new comp button, but it's bigger for people who are like, all right, forget about it. All right, what we're going to do, or rather, what we're not going to do is we're not going to take the masking tool and we're not going to draw this intricate mask. No. We're going to set up a mat. So I'm going to duplicate the layer, select it, hit Control D, and over in the effects and presets, I'm going to search for threshold. And obviously I don't have to type it all in, but I have this CC threshold RGB. And if you don't have this, you probably don't have the full version of After Effects. Oh, by the way, this tutorial can be done with version 6.52, I'm pretty sure. So anyway, take the threshold effect, drag it down to the bride medium, top one. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the green threshold and push this all the way to the top, because we're not going to really worry about that. What we need to do is make a matte that turns everything in the face red and everything that's not the face preferably black. So right about here looks pretty good. I'm going to show you why. All right, I know you guys are getting worried and you're thinking, what's going on here? So forget about that for a sec. We're going to get onto it, okay? Oh, by the way, on that hole, my second ball, I actually got it on the green, on the back of the green, and I had 3 putts to get it in. And I'm happy to say that I got a par on that hole. Anyway, back to it. We're going to select this layer, and we're going to go to Effects, Color Correction, Hue, and Saturation, and we're going to desaturate the picture so that we can use the levels, color correction levels. Notice they're in a new location, which is fine, I don't, works for me. Okay, we're going to boost the whites, the highlights, and basically turn this area white, okay? All this just to get the red to turn to white. I know. All right, we're going to make a new adjustment layer, and for those of you who don't know, an adjustment layer is a layer you apply effects to, and it in turn affects the layers beneath it. So we're actually going to move this layer below our top bride matte layer, and what we're going to do is we're going to change the track matte, and if you hit F4, if it's not up, you can toggle between different switches, which is good. So we're going to change the track matte to Luma matte, all right? And you're saying, okay, hold on, what's going on? I don't know what you're doing. Well, basically what we're doing is using this matte, okay? We're telling this adjustment layer to only affect the pixels represented by this white area. So what does it mean? Well, I will show you. If I use a levels adjustment on my adjustment layer with the Luma matte track selected, it will only affect that area. Check it out. You can also use this method to, color an apple or color a certain area, or to color correct only a certain area. It's pretty versatile. Don't just think about blemish removal. Well, for now, think about blemish removal, but just keep an open mind. Okay, that's what it does. Now, let me show you what we're gonna do. Selecting the adjustment layer, I'm going to go up to Effects, Noise and Grain, Remove Grain. All right. So now in the Remove Grain settings, by the way, F3 brings up the effects control, and it's much improved, I must say. We're going to change the viewing mode to Final Output. Very nice. And we're going to change the... okay, well, before I go on, as you can see, we're already making a pretty nice change. If I toggle this on and off, it's taking care of some of those blemishes. Let's go ahead and increase the noise reduction to 1.5, okay? Because we're applying it to just specific areas, we actually can kind of overdo it a little bit, unlike if we were to just take the layer alone, add the remove grain, and finalize it. Because what happens is the image begins to look blurry, and areas like the hair or the background, things you don't want to look fuzzy or blurry, the eyes especially, kind of start getting a little bit soft. So this method somewhat can eliminate that side effect, if you will. So with the adjustment layer selected, I'm going to go ahead and hit F3 and play around with the effects control. Now, there's another area of the remove grain effect I want to touch on, and that is the temporal filtering. Basically, what I gather this temporal filtering does is analyzes the frames before and after and compares them with the current frame. And based on the color from around that frame, it kind of blends the pixels together, so you have a smoother image. It reduces grain. What a concept. Now, the motion sensitivity is basically like how much to look forward and look beyond the current frame, and you want to be careful in that area because it can start to be it can start looking warping and stuff. We're actually gonna put it up to 0.95, and that'll just bring the effect down just a little bit, just because I don't want to overdo it too much. What the heck? We'll go 925. Okay. All right. Another thing you may want to do is on our matte layer. Here, if you hit Enter or Return on the keyboard, you can type in a name for the layer. That way we can keep track of it. What I want to do on this layer actually is blur it out. Even though the remove grain isn't a very strong effect, it's good to blur the matte a little bit so that you don't get sharp edges between unfixed areas and face areas. Just a good idea. If you notice, the eye is still in sharp focused. We're working with interlaced footage, so don't be alarmed. So if we look at this, I'd say we're looking pretty good. If I compare this, it's definitely an improvement. Here, let's toggle this on and off. Today was my about 7th time golfing. I'm not trying to make excuses, but it was really windy and my clubs were dirty, and I don't think I was using a high quality ball. It was cold. My shirt was kind of tight, so I think I was losing a little something on my swing. But other than that, it went pretty good. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's go ahead and preview that. Oh yeah, look at that. Here, the tilde key. Thanks, John Dickinson. Hit the 0 key again, and we'll preview this, all right? I mean, that's some high quality stuff, guys. Now, okay, we have another problem. A slight problem is we zoom in here and we say, well, what's going on here? I mean, we have this area that's all grainy, and then it's just perfectly smooth right here. Something just seems a little weird about it, and you're thinking, well, look, it's not perfect. I mean, I'm doing my best to just show you a good method here. You don't have to criticize it. And to that I say, let's add some grain. Now, the cool thing about adding grain to an adjustment layer that is tracked by a matte is that the grain will only add itself to the area that you're affecting. So in this instance, it's perfect. So let's zoom into an area where we have grain and where we have clear. So select the adjustment layer, and we're going to go up to the noise and grain, add grain. Okay. Got some presets here, but this is like DV footage from like a year ago. Let's just pick one and we'll fix it up. We're going to change the preview to final output. All right. Hey, that looks pretty darn good, right? You're thinking, man, print that to tape. No, here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring the intensity down to 1.25. And we're also going to bring the color, because you can see this grain isn't really chromatic like the grain that's created. We're going to bring this down to say 0.25 also. And we're going to make the aspect ratio 0.9 like our footage, and we're going to soften it 1.1 and maybe make the size 1.2. It's pretty close. Let's bring the intensity down to 0.2. All right, so I mean that does a pretty good job of hiding, the feel of really clean footage. So now if we toggle this on and off, I'll go and take a snapshot so we can compare it. If we toggle this on and off, I mean we're really making an improvement. Without losing the detail, on the teeth, or especially the eyes. Either eye. So you can see the importance of making a good mat, but at the same time, it's very flexible and especially forgiving. So if it's not perfect or this or that, you don't have to make excuses like me. All right, now, well, thanks for watching, and I hope this tutorial helps you out, especially with the ladies, because I know it's helped me out. Oh yeah. God, I'm lonely.